What's up, everybody? It's Chris from One Take coming in to talk about Doge. Today, I want to go over this awesome article that I found. It covers a lot of things that we're experiencing in the market right now, and I think we could learn a lot from it. It also takes all that information and relays it over to the crypto market. So that's even better, especially if you're invested in Bitcoin, Doge, a bunch of things. Hopefully, not Luna. But yeah, so it covers a lot. Even talks about Voyager and its possible bankruptcy. So it'll be pretty in depth, but I really think it'll be useful information. So yeah, that's the goal today, and hopefully we can accomplish that. All right, but before we do, remember to please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm up to 91 subscribers, so growing every day, and I really appreciate you guys. All right, let's hop into the video. Okay, so this is the article I was referring to earlier. It's called Crypto's Trying Out Traditional Finances Failures in Hyperspeed. I totally agree with that, but it also says it's going to be fine. Is it? Is it really, though? I personally think it will be. In the long term, everything's going to be okay. Right now, it's a total mess, but I think we'll be all right. What are your thoughts? Is this a crypto market bubble? Is everything going to crash? I'd just love to hear from you guys. But let's hop into the meat of it. What's going on in the crypto market? So if you didn't know, when you buy assets from a brokerage, what they do is actually loan your assets out to other brokerages so that brokerage can now claim those assets and borrow more money. So they're kind of using your assets as a way to leverage or get more leverage going forward. And the thing that stinks is these big brokerages were actually kind of like gambling with our money. And if you look at Three Arrows Capital as a centerpiece, what they did was borrow our assets from Celsius and Voyager, and they used our assets to borrow more money, and they put that money into things like Terra Luna. So if you didn't know, Terra Luna crashed about a month ago, and that caused Three Arrows Capital to go bankrupt. Since they went bankrupt with the assets they borrowed, which were ours, Celsius and Voyager no longer have those assets. So that's why things are frozen on their platform. That's why you can't withdraw your assets on Voyager, because they loaned them out to Three Arrows Capital, and Three Arrows Capital lost them. So it's a total mess right now, but here's a little bit of good news. So Voyager just filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and this is when they can go and ask for a loan so that they can repay all the people for the assets that they lost. So it's hopefully going to go through. We're going to find out soon. But if it doesn't, then they'll have to go to Chapter 7 bankruptcy. At least that's what I'm reading. And that would cause them to lose all the assets. So as of right now, it looks positive. It looks like hopefully they'll be able to get this loan and be able to pay out some of the assets that they lost by loaning them over to Three Arrows Capital. So just to reiterate, what the brokerages were doing, were loaning each other everybody's assets, and then they were using that as a way to get more leverage to borrow more money, and then they were doing risky things like investing in more cryptocurrencies and stuff like that just to try and make an extra penny, but ultimately it kind of fell, and since they're all leveraged against each other, it doesn't look good as a whole. So that's kind of what's going on, but we're seeing a little bit of positivity with the Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And now let's take a peek at what some really awesome people are doing to try and stop this whole thing from collapsing in on itself. So if we look here, BlockFi received a structured bailout from FTX, which was very nice of them, and it seemed to be around $215 million in total. So that's awesome, and they're using that as a way to give people back some of the assets that they lost by loaning them out to other brokerages. So that's nice. And hopefully we can work through this and see the other side. So as a whole, crypto market's not doing great right now, and also because the prices are low, miners are struggling as well. So let's check them out. Let's figure out what's going on with them. So it says right here the miners are struggling, and since Bitcoin's around $20,000 right now, they still get rewarded the same amount of Bitcoin even if it was at 60,000 or 40,000 or 20,000. So it costs a lot of work and money to get these Bitcoins, and since Bitcoin's low, they're actually just breaking even. So whatever they mine, they actually have to sell right to the market. So miners are struggling. They're shutting down plants at certain places. So that's a mess as well. We have two things that are a mess in the crypto market. So I hope you guys learned something about what's going on with the crypto market. It totally stinks what's happening right now. If you're in Voyager, I'm sorry, and I hope you can get through this. I hope you can get your assets back. All right, now let's check out what's going on with just the market in general. So this is the inverse yield curve right here. It happened back in April. I made a video at the time explaining what an inverse yield curve was, and it also happened again, an inverse yield curve. So this is when you make more money with a 2-year Treasury yield when compared to a 10-year Treasury yield. So you make more money in the short term than you do if you put your money in the long-term investment. So whenever that happens, you make more money short-term than long-term, that indicates an impending recession. And what we've been seeing is the projected GDP for this quarter is around negative 2.1, which would also confirm a recession. So there's a bunch of crazy stuff going on right now, and I'm sorry I can't sit here and say Doge is going to $100, but it's a mess right now. I hope you're using this as a time to scoop up some things for cheap, especially if you think everything's going to turn around in the future. So we had another inverse yield curve, the second one in a year. We have the crypto market kind of collapsing in on itself. We have the miners struggling. We have record inflation. There's a lot of really bad things going on. So sorry again, I couldn't give you any really positive news, but I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed this video. I forgot to say it's not financial advice. But yeah, so I really hope you guys learned something. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate every one of you guys, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.